What's going on, YouTube? We're going to start a new channel on my series. It's going to go over all the Lost Chapter Chaos difficulty fights and the Dimensions End fights as they come. This is a global account. I do not have a JP account, so we're not going to look at those. But I want to make this series because I noticed that there's a lot of people covering this type of content, but it's kind of boring when there's no commentary. You know, it's interesting to see them, what their strategy was, but to me personally, I think it's boring when there's no commentary. So I wanted to do it myself. And we're gonna also go over the teams and the enemies as much as I can, or at least as much as I need to know. And hopefully I'll help you decide what team to pick when you go into the Chaos Challenges as well. So for this one, this is Fang's Lost Chapter. This is a fairly simple one. It's an earlier one compared to the new ones that are coming out, like Machinas and Bosches that just recently came out. But these enemies are pretty easy. So the way I decide a team is based on who's going to be the biggest problem. So usually it's the last enemy and a halfway boss or halfway check. Now the halfway check for this one is this big worm here, the iron worm. And his only real threat is the group gravity spin and the saliva, but the saliva you won't even really get to because you'll kill him so quickly. But the group gravity is a problem because it's he auto bravers himself to a certain degree, and the first one is usually the hardest hitting one. It's like 3900 HP damage he does, and it really ruins your score if you don't have a healer because you're supposed to take 10k less damage. That right there will do well over 10k. Now, for this type of challenge, you don't really need 3-3 super woke units like I have. I only have these 3 because I got debated with Dash, and I love Kane. He's probably my favorite Final Fantasy character. And with Rosa, I needed a support early on, and she was she was only really the only option I had when I started. So I pulled for her, and she was we won't talk about that. But moving on. These 3, so this enemy, and this enemy, I'm pretty sure these are all free. So like these ones you can just easily kill. They're just like checks, like quick checks. But these are mid bosses. You get through this one, you're gonna need a lot, well, not a lot of healing, but depending how your team is, you might need some heals. So Dash gives heals with his attack and has a passive that heals, and Rosa has built-in healing in her kit as a passive. Now, for this one, the main enemy is going to be the Sahai Jin Shamans. For these ones, they tell you here what they're immune to, what they absorb, so we're not bringing Arrow or Holy, but we can also override this if we have Imperils. So it doesn't, if you have Imperilers, this doesn't apply to you, but in general, if we don't have this, this is what you're going to follow by. Main threats for these guys are the jump that they get. They do group melee jump that can do some good damage. Jump melee plus pretty much gives them 999 straight damage across. And when one of them dies, this one always gets supplication for grace, and then they get this buff: initial bravery, attack, defense, speed, and a feeblement up to party. Now you don't really want to mess around too long with this because he can end up being a huge pain because there's 2 of them. So I've chose my team because Dash has built-in healing. Let me very quickly show you what abilities I have. These are the artifacts. I prioritize Memory of Ancients. I got very lucky with his. Everything else as much as I possibly can with the new Odin. And the crystals, pretty much everything maxed out. So that's Dash, no spheres. Kane, same thing. Attack, attack, attack. He was like way early on, so don't mind my Kane. Same thing with his boards. Oh, alright, we won't look at that then. Break speed up. So you actually gotta make some decisions here. Well, Kane doesn't really need HP, so we can take these 2 out. And we can go here, put these 2 on. And yeah, that's my Kane. And then with Rosa, prioritize Devoted White Mage boost. Same thing with her. The boards, prioritize how she plays. And then she's around there. But let's get started. And also, no supports. I want to see, because I want to be able to do this with no supports, just my team. This will also make you a better player down the line, because you'll you'll know exactly what you're fighting and how to play the game versus having one really broken support, you know. And I ended up picking the brothers because this is an easier type of LC, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to do max damage most of the time. So I'm going to have the opportunity to do max damage, so I'll need more bravery than usual. That plus the battery of Rosa will definitely help along the lines, especially for Kane. Alrighty, so that's the prep phase that's getting to the actual fight. In general, you're going to be kind of conservative with your abilities, depending on who your characters are. But Dash gets free. He gets free abilities the first turn, so you can just get rid of these guys really quickly. I use that one because we take less physical damage, but it doesn't matter because we're not going to get hit anytime soon. For Kane, I'm just going to jump this real quick because it also gives him a buff for Dragoon's Pride. And then for Rosa, I would pray, but we don't need to right now. She gives a passive battery, and then these guys are gone. So this is like the warm-up phase. You'll always get trash enemies like this. And then you got the guy who can stop your run. So for this guy, I'm going to start using some abilities. I like using Gungnir, because it also gives me a max bravery buff. Always keep in mind too, keep an eye on your buffs when you're doing this, because it matters a lot how you rotate. We're going to pray here so that we can get a bigger buff in max bravery, so she can get more battery for us. And then we're going to actually do electric floor. We're not going to do the EX just now because we're going to get hit here, so we can actually take advantage of his ability right now. Alright, so here we go. He takes about 12k, so that's like 38, 39 for all of us. Now he got a paralyzed debuff. Assuming that your character isn't strong enough, this is super clutch. So now I don't have to waste any abilities. He's gonna die way well before his next turn. And we're just gonna HP attack. Very easy, very easy. But down the line there'll be 2 of them, and you'll take more damage. I'm just very overkitted right now for this, but I wanted to at least show an example, you know, of application. So I'm using an ability here because they can take some damage. So I need some abilities there. Kane does really good damage. His only problem is that he's kind of just a damage dealer. Now there, I should have done probably one of his 2 abilities that heal, because I don't want to go into these guys already hurt, but it's okay. So here we're gonna do EX, and then I want to get the electric floor up, just so he has a chance of getting either defense down or what's it called? Defense down or paralysis. So for them right now, they have only generic debuffs, like specific debuffs. So here they have a break phase, so they're past every turn they get a amount of bravery back. So I'm gonna keep using this bravery up thrust. So now 2 turns have passed for them technically. They're gonna get their bravery back before their turn, so they can break them again. This is very good down the line, so that you can manipulate people's turns, because certain characters like Noctis are all about turn manipulation. So this will help you learn how to do that much better. Definitely important. See, so now we're gonna do Divine Blast on this one because both Dash and Kane are coming up. So I'm gonna do HP attack here, get free 10k. This one's gonna be a 9400. Alright, so now we're going to do Electric Floor. Now, I'm not specifically prioritizing any enemy in general because we're gonna break them again. Alright, so this is what happened. If Kane didn't use his bravery thrust twice, they would have already attacked. So now we get a free jump, and now Rosa can come in. Now when you look at the enemy, you can see here that when it's all blue and it says all, this is going to be, I believe it's an attack on us, and then a blue-orange is a buff on them. So try to remember that. So what we're gonna do here is he's gonna jump, I'm gonna pray, so that we can take this hit. Alright, here we go. Now Dash's passive is gonna kick, a debuff, he got defense down. Not the best, but it's okay. Right? So we could have tanked that normally, but even if one of your characters are at 0, some bosses, if they break you, they instantly attack right after. So word of advice is always try to keep them all with bravery so that no one gets broken. That's usually a good rule of thumb. So here, Fang and Claw is going to come up. So we're going to use our summon very soon here. Probably when Rosa comes up. We're going to heal up a bit here. Right here, we got everything healed up. So Rosa can break A. So what that means is I could use Luminous Arrow, but I wouldn't cap out on damage. So I'm going to use Divine Blast so I can give some battery. And also push back A. And now I'm going to use my summon. So this is so that I can maximize on everyone's EX. So we're going to prioritize, since none of them have paralyzed, they're both equal in danger. So we're going to go for A. Now Kane's Fang and Claw always gives a knockback, 1 turn pushback, and gives battery. Tons of battery. So he pairs up really good for someone like Kais, if you have him. So here we're gonna do Thunderclap. It does not matter who we pick. We could have picked B so that we get a rush follow-up, but it is what it is, you know. We'll actually do it here because we get some battery from Rosa. This is one of my favorite EXs. Good damage. And then good follow-ups here. Alright, and now his bravery came back, which means that A's gonna come back real soon too. So we're gonna do a Gumi here. Should come back on Rose's turn. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do Electric Floor. We didn't have to, but I'm doing it for damage. Because we can kill A very soon. We get a free ability. So it's situational. At least for Rosa. I would want to pray here, but Divine Blast, I think, will be enough to take him out now if we do Gungnir. And if we follow up with Dash. Alright, so let's see if we can actually kill. We're going to use Plasma Stroke because it's stronger. Nice, so we took him out. So he's going to break Dash. Yeah, good thing is that this move is not an HP attack. So again, this is an easier enemy. If this was like one of those angels, they would instantly have killed Dash and we'd have to restart. So always try to keep him up. I was just playing very loosely because I know that I can kill this guy. Again, Kane's move, good battery, good damage. Rush with pushback right here so we can all go again. Now what we're going to do is just spam our abilities and we should call it home here. I'm going to use a Gungnir here. And then we're done. We'll use the Thunderclasp. And that's all it is. That's all it takes. That one was fairly easy. We'll probably get more in depth with the harder ones later on down the line. But overall, we met all the challenges. When it comes to the damage, we healed it up with Dash and Rosa. And yeah, that's the team right there. Gets you some free nuggets and some free, well, essential nuggets too that you really need. But that's how you do the chaos for Fang. If you guys want to stick around for more, that'd be great because I'm going to be posting for all of them. But here's for the next one, guys. Thank you. Later.